Hey, what's up, Closer Nation? It's Ryan Stewman, and look, I want to give you my latest book for free. It's called Elevator to the Top. It's been a bestseller across 15 different lists, including Amazon, different categories, all sorts of websites. You're going to love it. It's all about sales. Everything that you need to know about sales from day one to retirement. It's actionable. It's not feel good, motivational stuff. It's actionable things that you can put into place and obviously close more sales as a byproduct of that. So simply go over to elevatortothetop.com and get the book for free. Just pay for the stamps to get it to your house. Read the book, do what it says, and you will close more sales. Again, elevatortothetop.com. Welcome, everybody, to the Hardcore Closer Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Stewman, founder of hardcorecloser.com. Look, this podcast is all about helping you, the sales community, close more deals, whether you're selling cars, homes, financial services, coaching, consulting, your experience, your knowledge, or hell, even if you're selling your ass, it doesn't matter. I'm going to help you get better quality leads, and I'm going to help you increase your closing ratio so that, and as well as show you how to charge premium fees, because look, I believe the salesperson is grossly underpaid. And it's my goal, as part of this podcast here, is to give back and help you get paid what you're worth. So, hey, welcome to episode number 47 of the THC podcast. Look, I'm glad you're here. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm excited to impart some wisdom into you today. So that's going to be awesome. We've got a really great show lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're a first timer, that's awesome. There's a lot of other episodes. There's at least 46, depending on when you're listening to this. So make sure you check those out. And you dig them, leave me a review on iTunes, and make sure you tune in, come back to other episodes, all that good stuff. If you've been here before, I need your help. Man, we're in the top 50 in iTunes. They're putting us on that front page. It's awesome. We've got 400 or 500 reviews at this point. We're quickly catching everybody else there. I don't want the momentum to stop. Even if you're watching this on hardcorecloser.com or YouTube or whatever, just log into your iPhone and leave me a review in the podcast. Man, it would mean the absolute world to me. I do this show for free as a way to give back, because I want to help change the lives of 300 million salespeople. I'm starting a foundation this year to help salespeople that are commission-only salespeople that don't have insurance, that get in a jam. I'm starting a charity to where we can take care of the sales community. Nobody has ever done for the sales community what I'm about to start doing this year, because I love you motherfuckers, right? That's not the marijuana talking either. That's just like, I'm not drunk or any of that shit. I fucking love you guys. Like, y'all are my people. And so I want to do what I can do to give back to you. And I have a huge heart. Well, one of the things is I got to be able to get in front of people in order to help them. And so I need you to get onto iTunes, on the podcast, leave me a review, because there are hundreds of millions of people that read that stuff on a monthly basis. And I want to make sure I get in front of as many of them that are in sales as possible, so that I can help change their lives, and so that they know things like the Break Free Foundation and the other things that we have coming up are going to exist. So, and I'm really excited about that. We'll have an episode about that in the future. But look, it's not easy. You have to go into the iTunes podcast and then hit the search button. You type in THC or Hardcore Closer Podcast. And right there, when you see my logo show up, you just click on it. And then the middle thing says reviews, and it'll ask you to write a review. I know that is confusing as fuck, ladies and gentlemen. iTunes does not make it easy, which means that if we'll just go a little bit above and beyond and put that effort in and leave a review, just like I'm going a little bit above and beyond and doing this podcast for you, then things will work out. Matter of fact, we've got LT Great Socks. This fucking name, Great Socks. I dig it. It says, always keep learning. This gives us 5 stars here. He says, I just started a sales job literally less than a week ago. One thing everyone tells me to do is keep learning. Use the resources available to you. Ryan is an incredible resource. Gets right to the point, gives you fantastic information and motivation. Keep it up, Ryan. Hey, thanks a lot, LT Great Socks. And you looks like Robert whited out the part where he called me strikingly handsome as well. So Robert's trying to steal my thunder. All right, everybody, I appreciate that. Review there, LT Great Socks. Make sure that you guys head over to iTunes and the podcast. Go through that grueling process. Just do it for me, man. I'm asking. I don't ask you for a whole hell of a lot. Just do it for me, and I'll keep I'll be the zookeeper that keeps feeding the kangaroos, man. You could be a kangaroo on me all you want. I'll keep giving you badass information. I'm asking for this one time to go over there and leave me reviews. All right, so let's jump into the episode. This is how you sell premium products to cheap prospects. Now, first of all, before we jump into this real quick, I know I just said let's jump in, but let's just jump right the fuck back out for a second. Hold up. So I'm doing a webinar. You can go over to hcwebinar.com. Before I jump into all this shit, I'm just telling you this is a revolutionary webinar. You can read all about it once you get over there to hcwebinar.com. The shit is going to be legit. Make sure you don't miss it. And you know, I do these things live. It's not like an auto fucking webinar shit like you see all these other quote unquote gurus do. Like I do the shit live because like I said, I fucking love you people. And so I'm trying to teach you and help you, whether you buy my shit, whether you join our entourage, which is, you know, transparency is the ultimate goal because I want to help you. But whether you join that stuff or not, I want to fucking help people. And I put together real live, real time webinars and trainings in order to do that. So I'm just saying hcwebinar.com. All right, now let's talk about selling premium products to cheap prospects, right? We all call them the cheaple, right? People that want cheap shit. And really, if your customer's coming in and he or she, right? Because who am I to assume gender these days? What an asshole, right? Why don't you fuck out and be attacked by the snowflakes and shit? So think about this for a second. Like if you advertise that you're the cheapest price in town, you can't get mad when motherfuckers show up and they lowball you. You have positioned yourself for that. You can't get upset with that. See, a lot of people, they run advertisements. Call us. We've got a $10,000 Ford Focus. Come down here and see us today. And then they get pissed off when the $10,000 Ford Focus is what everybody that shows up at the fucking dealership wants. Same thing. You got mortgage companies. They say, we have the lowest rates possible. And then they get pissed off when the person rate shops them. Well, you just told them you're the lowest possible. Now they got something to double check. And so here's the thing. Cheap people, they fucking exist sheep people that just do the same old bad shit over and over again because they're sheep. They're not awake. We do wolf shit on this show, right? Like sheep, they run in fucking herds. Wolf, we run in packs. There's not a whole fucking lot of us, right? We're awake. We're on the fucking prowl. That's how it works. Anyway, so listen, there are cheap people out there. So the easiest way to stop fucking with cheap people, first, before we even get into all this shit, the easiest way to stop fucking with cheap people is stop selling to broke people. Stop advertising for broke people. Stop putting offers that attract broke people in your advertising. That's the first way to sell premium products to cheap people. Stop fucking letting them know that it's acceptable for them to be cheap. I just want to lay that out there. But look, most of us sell something that's not the cheapest in our market. Look, I've never worked for the cheapest employer. Every sales job I've ever had has been about selling products at above market price. Look, when I sold mortgages, our fees and our rates were not the lowest, but we did more loans than anybody. But by nature, people want a deal. And it feels good to save $1 or $2 when you know it's like an additional perk, right? But look, some people take that to the extreme. There's extreme rate shoppers. They want to know how much below invoice or how much above the par rate and all this other crap, right? Like fuck those people. Listen, don't sell to those people. They don't do anything but cost you commissions and cost you time. And those are usually the first motherfuckers to complain. You know, the people that you hook up, the people that you take care of, the people you give the best deal will be the first motherfuckers to step on you and leave you a shitty review too. So stop fucking with those cheap people because look, if they're cheap with you, they're cheap in every area of their life. And by cheap, that's a mindset, right? It's not an amount of money. There can be people with millions of dollars in their bank account that are cheap ass people. Okay, it's a mindset. It's not a dollar amount, right? And cheap is a limiting behavior that you have. You feel like you got it. It's a greed. You feel like you're getting over on somebody. You don't want to deal unless you're on the winning side. And many of you salespeople, you have a lot of people doing this to you, and you attract what you are. Let me say this again. Many of you salespeople have cheap people coming to you, negotiating with you, beating the shit out of you, getting you basically to work for free or limited income. And it's because you attract what you are. When you go out, you find yourself doing the same thing. It's like, you know, it perpetuates the cycle. It's like abuse, right? They say people that were abused, they continue to abuse. You're perpetuating the cycle because you're out there being a cheapo when it comes to other people. I see a guy in the Sales Talk with Sales Pro group the other day, and he was talking about, you know, how he went over and he used his sales skills to negotiate a hell of a deal down on somebody else and, you know, rob them of their money or whatever the case. And he's like, you know, I beat the salesperson. I'm like, man, and I bet you wonder why motherfuckers do that to you all the time. Right? Because you attract who you are. So think about that, man. If you're one of those bastards Because look, I believe full price is fair price. Have I been ripped off a few times? Well, hell yeah, haven't we all? Have I overpaid for a car or something like that, or a house? Maybe. But at the same time, I'm trying to. I'm when I buy something, man, I'm not buying the cheapest in town. I'm not looking for the cheapest in town. I'm looking for something that can get the results that I need. Can you get me in and out of your dealership in 20 minutes? Can you have them drop the car off and sign the papers here at my house? I'll pay a premium for that. That's worth $1,000 delivery fee to me, right? Like, but if you can't get it if you don't ask. But if you're out there and you're presenting yourself as the cheapest in town, I'm not going to call you because I don't want to do business with the cheapest in town, because that insinuates to me they fuck with broke ass cheap people and I don't want to stand in line behind them. I know how it goes. There's a reason why people make a lot of money and they drive Ferraris or, Mercedes or whatever the case may be. And it's not because, on one hand, you want a nicer car or whatever the case may be, but on the other, you want to experience ownership and service from a dealership different from the rest of the people. If you buy your home from a track builder like a D.R. Horton or Grand Homes or whatever, the service that you get from them is nowhere near the same as if you buy a Shattuck home, which is a completely custom home builder right here in North Texas. It's not the same, the experience you get. Now, do you pay a premium over those others for a Shattuck home? Absolutely. Is it worth it? Hell yeah, it's worth it. So listen, we want a deal. It's our nature to negotiate a deal, but be careful, because how you buy is how you sell. That's something that is important for you to understand, because how you go out and you buy things in the marketplace and how you negotiate and you try to browbeat the salesperson and everything else, that's also what happens to you, because we attract who we are. So let's talk about this, right? Like, I've got a few steps that you can take that will help you get rid of the cheap people from your life. And even when they show up, it'll teach. I can teach you here in this episode how to elevate your worth and your value to where you drive that cheapness out of them. So let's talk about this. Step one is clear your mind. Look, when I sold cars, people came in every day with the ads we ran in the newspaper. The ones I just mentioned a while ago, where it's like a $10,000 Ford Focus, or $15,000 Fiesta or some crazy shit, just to get traffic to the store. Well, 99 out of 100 times those people would leave paying more than 15 grand that, got them there on the ad. If I just assumed they were all the same, I would have lost 99 upsells. But I've got to open my mind and treat every sale individually. Now, when I say that, I'm talking about clear your mind. A lot of people come in there and the person comes in there and they're looking for the $15,000 Ford Focus or whatever the case may be. Oftentimes they would leave in an escape. There was something other. That advertisement was the trigger, the tripwire that got them in there. But that was not the reason that they came. See, they needed a vehicle was why they arrived. And I understood that. My mind wasn't they were looking for cheap shit, because I'm not a cheap person. I don't think that way. And so my mind wasn't that they were looking for cheap shit. I just assumed that that's what got them there. And the fact that the $15,000 car was already sold, the ad car was sold. We just talk about what their needs for transportation was. We give them just as good of a deal somewhere else. And listen, if I would have not cleared my mind, if I would have assumed that that's all they wanted, that they were cheap people, then I wouldn't be able to have made those sales. Same thing when people would call me, they would say, hey, what's the best rate that you got? I didn't spit rate out when I was a loan officer. What I would do instead is I would say, well, let me gather some facts from you, because here's what I know about my business. If I stand behind the interest rate that I give you 100%, matter of fact, I'll even give you $500 if I'm wrong. And so in order for me to make that strong of a guarantee, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to gather some paperwork from you, some facts from you, to where I can pull some information and make sure that you and I know 100% for sure, with even a $500 cashback guarantee, that my rate is what it is and will remain so. Well, who do you think they're like at that point? They're not talking about was my rate the lowest anymore. All of a sudden I'm talking about is my rate real and there's no fucking gimmicks. And that also assumes in their mind that the other people might be playing shenanigans with them. If their interest rate is a half a point lower than mine, and I've assured them that the marketplace doesn't work that way, but I've put $500 on mine and they won't put it on theirs, then what? Right? All of a sudden, I've taken a person that went from rate shopping me that was cheap without having to be an asshole, without having to be abrasive. I've taken someone that would normally be cheap and I've shown them the value of working with me, as in I guarantee and stand behind what the fuck I'm talking about. So you got to open your mind, treat every sale individually. I like the road to the sell. There's a process. You can Google it on the internet. We won't go into it here. I didn't write it. but the road to the sale is something that's been around forever. And I think Joe Girard or one of those guys wrote it, man, but it is a great 6-step process, and it works well. So step 2, identify the prospect's problem. See, here's the thing. When someone would come in that dealership, when someone would show up on that mortgage call, they had a problem. And the problem wasn't that they wanted a $15,000 car. The problem was the car they had, there was problems where they didn't have a car. See, when someone would show up in the mortgage world, it wasn't that they wanted a low interest rate. They needed to either buy a house, relocate, lost a job, sell a house, need some cash, refinance, whatever the case may be. It was my job as the salesperson to identify the prospect's problem. So look, we sell solutions, not products. People don't buy products. They buy solutions and people. And that, as soon as you understand that, you will make more money. Let me repeat that for you again. People don't buy products. They buy solutions and people. And really, let's take that even further. People don't buy products. They buy solutions from people. That's how this whole process works. So when you sell a solution, you start selling the solution and not the product. That's when you make the money. Right. But a lot of salespeople, they're trying to sell the product. Oh, I got the low interest rate, or we got the right terms, and we give you all this, that. That's the result, and that's a result, and that's the mechanism, but that's not the result that they get. But to the salesperson, the end of our process oftentimes is the sale, right? The closing the sale is the end of our process. So that's the result that we're trying to sell, but that's not the result for the person that we're selling to. And man, there is a ton of salespeople that have never even taken the time to understand the results that their prospects, their perfect prospects, desire. And so when you're out there, and like I know when someone's showing up at a dealership that they don't want the cheapest car, there is a need that I need to uncover. Are they having a kid and they need some extra space? Do they need a smaller car? Do they want a fast car? Do they want a slow car? Are they trying to get a pickup truck for the ranch for work? Like, I'm trying to figure out what it is. Did they get in an accident? Did their other car get repoed? Did the other one break down? Are they trading? Like, I'm trying to figure out whatever problem it is that triggered them to want to come in there. Same with the mortgage world. You know, I'm trying to figure out what it is that they're going to do once they get this mortgage from me. So what happens now? So you get a mortgage from me, then what do you plan on doing? See, that's the important part. So you identify the prospect's problem. The best way to do that is by asking questions. 2 ears, 1 mouth. He who talks the least makes the most. Remember that shit. Step 3, demonstrate the ability to solve their problem. The best way that I do this by demonstrating the ability to solve their problem is I use, we'll call it manufactured social proof. So if I find out what the problem is they need to take a home equity loan out so they can build a swimming pool because their kids want a swimming pool. So that's the true problem. The problem is they need cash to get a swimming pool. And the underlying problem is they want their kids to be happy, right? So I've taken that to the ultimate level from their perspective, not mine. And so here's the thing, when I realize that's their problem, it's like, oh, you know what? I did a home equity loan 2 weeks ago for the Smiths. They had 2 little girls, cutest little girls you ever seen, almost as cute as yours. You know, I'm sure they're just equally as cute. But anyway, they actually built a pool. And then what happened to them was none of the neighbors in the neighborhood had a pool. So all the other kids came and hang out too. They loved it. Right? The little girls never left home. The parents were able to keep an eye on them. Dude, it's going to be awesome. The same thing's probably going to happen for you. Do a lot of the neighbors have pools in your area? Right? Like, we understand the problem that they're trying to do. The problem is they want their kids to stay there and hang out the house and be happy and swim in the swimming pool and everything else, probably quit bugging the shit out of them. So that's what I'm going to sell. It's not the interest rate on the home equity loan. It's the ability to solve their problem. And what I'm going to talk about is the social proof that somebody like them in their similar situation has experienced the results that they want and obtain through me. Step 4, provide amazing service. Look, if you're going to be expensive and you're not the cheapest around, you better be fucking worth it. You see, when you do something and you back it up and you make it happen, when you say something, you back it up and you make it happen. And so here's the deal. Like, you know, a person can go to Kohl's and get a $50 pair of jeans. Who am I kidding? Get a $40 pair of jeans that look the same as what a pair of jeans at Nordstrom cost you $200. Now, let Rock and Republic as an example. It's not at Nordstrom's any longer, but those jeans were once $250 at Nordstrom's, and now you can get them for $30 at Kohl's. The same jeans, nothing changed, right? Nothing changed. But here's what happens at Kohl's. They teach you the cheap mindset. Come in for discounts. They send you Kohl's cash. There's a percentage off. Buy one, get one, 99.99% off. Then buy two, get three free. There's like all this like programming in there to be this cheap person. So it attracts cheap people who think they're saving money and everything else and using double and cheap, triple coupons, who will cut your fucking throat if it's the last pair of jeans on there and it fits them. Right. However, when you go to Nordstrom, those same $30 jeans are now $250. But the difference is at Nordstrom's, man, you go in the dressing room, they'll come in there and they'll zip it up for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you do what they'll feel your butt. They'll tell you how great you, they'll even, they'll do whatever you want, tell you how great you look. They'll hem the bottoms of them, man. They'll make you parade around the store and talk about how everybody in the world wants to come around and give you random blowjobs, man. Nordstrom's make you feel like a goddamn king. And so here's the thing. You can't get that at Kohl's, but people know you go to Nordstrom's, you could get paraded around and told everybody that you deserve blowjobs. That shit could fucking happen. So that's worth the $250 that you're spending as opposed to $30. Is it the same damn pair of jeans? Hell yeah, it's the same pair of jeans, but Nordstrom jeans could possibly get you blowjobs. You know that's how you think, guys, right? You're not fooling anybody. But think about that. You better provide, except you could be selling the same thing as anybody else, but if you provide above and beyond and you provide exceptional service, then guess what? You're going to win that every single time. So let's recap real quick, right? So number one is clear your mind. Make no assumptions. Just because they come in from your company or your advertising that attract cheap people doesn't mean that's what's really going on. Because step two is once you identify your prospect's problem, then you can take it from them being from the cheap mindset all of a sudden to them going into the buying whatever it is that solves their problem mindset. Number three, demonstrate the ability to solve their problem in advance, right? Tell them a story of someone similar to them in a similar situation that experienced the results that they hope to experience as well. And one of the things that I do, just in taking a second here on that, one of the things that I like to do is when I talk to people in the beginning, it's like, hey, how's it going? Oh, awesome. Everything's wonderful. How's the weather up there? All right, perfect. Where are you located at? Oh, I'm in Philadelphia. It's like, oh, hey, you're in Philadelphia. My friend Robert's up there in Philadelphia. I helped him with the Break Free Academy digital program. That guy is killing it up there. Maybe you've heard of him. So I'm showing them that somebody in their close proximity that's getting the results from my program that they want. And I have that like up front. That's an objection. That's something I subconsciously plant up front. It's like, oh, my buddy Alex, dude, he's in your area. He's killing it, man. This is going to work perfect for you. So tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm demonstrating my ability to solve their problem up front. Step four, make sure you provide amazing service, man. If you say it, do it. And if you do it better than fucking everybody else. All right, two last things. Make sure you signed up for the webinar, hcwebinar.com. We got one coming up. Good one coming up, y'all. And hey, if you haven't got a copy of my best-selling book, elevatortothetop.com, we'll ship you a paperback copy, elevatortothetop.com. And make sure you head on over to the podcast, go through that grueling fucking process, leave me a review. And last of all, let's hang out on social media. Find me at Clixo, CLYXO.com/closer. And make sure while you're there at Clixo, you sign up. It's completely free. We'll talk to you next week, everybody. It's time to go close some sales.